Recent news about suicide of celebrities alarms me because there is such a thing as contagion effect of suicide. That means that some more people might get into it because of the popularity that it gained in the news. Phenomenal actress Marilyn Monroe shared the same fate with Oscar winner Robin Williams. Great writers Ernest Hemingway and David Foster Wallace did not end their stories happily ever after. Kurt Cobain of Nirvana, Chester Bennington of Linkin Park, and Kim Jong-un of the boy band SHINee shared the same cause of death. And who will not forget the genius Vincent van Gogh's way of ending his life. And most recently, bag designer entrepreneur Kate Spade and celebrity chef Anthony Bourdain hit headlines because of how they ended their lives. But in respect to the families that they have left behind, we'd rather not talk about them. Let us focus on the red flags of suicide. Did you know that almost 800,000 people die of suicide every year? And that is one person every 40 seconds. In the Philippines, there are 7 people who commit suicide every single day. And based on the trend, by 2020, every 20 seconds a person will die of suicide if we don't prevent it. There are 2 times as many deaths due to suicide than HIV/AIDS. We need to be educated on how to prevent suicide and how to be able to help those who will raise the red flags of suicide. I simply call it sad persons. S stands for sex. There are more females who thought of and attempted to commit suicide, but there are more males who actually died of it. The gender stereotypes of male being strong and tough does not allow for failure, perhaps causing men to select more lethal and violent methods of suicide, while women, who has the option to express weakness and ask for help, may use suicide attempts as simply a call for help. According to statistics, suicide attempts are 4 times more likely to happen among LGBTQ youth than other young people. LGBT young people who come from families that reject or do not accept them are over 8 times more likely to commit suicide than those whose families accept them. And according to Suicide Awareness Voices for Education, each time an LGBTQ person is a victim of physical or verbal harassment or abuse, they become 2.5 times more likely to hurt themselves. A is for age. According to the WHO, suicide is the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds globally. And suicide rates among elderly are highest for those who are divorced or widowed. D is for depression. People who complete suicide are usually depressed at the time of their deaths. Depression that is untreated and undiagnosed. Imagine those celebrities who committed suicide at the peak of their career simply because popularity and fame were not enough to make them happy and in fact led them to depression. Imagine the highly volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world that can give us more reasons for depression than before. P stands for previous attempts. People who have attempted suicide in the past are most likely to succeed the next time around. So those people you have known to have committed suicide in the past are most likely to do it again and may become successful next time. E stands for ethanol abuse, which is actually alcohol. How many of those who succeeded to commit suicides were under the influence of drugs and alcohol? R stands for rational thinking impairment. Imagine the vulnerability of those people who cannot logically and rationally think because they are under the influence of drugs and alcohol. S stands for social support that is lacking. Suicide rates among elderly are highest among those who are divorced or widowed. O stands for organized plans. Did you know that suicide is higher among those medical professionals because they have access to those drugs that they can use to commit suicide? N stands for no spouse, which is very similar for the social support that is lacking. And last is sickness that is chronic or terminal. For obvious reasons that they're dying anyway, they want to do it on their own. Are suicidal people definitive about dying? Do they have the full intention to die? Are they really wanting to die? The answer is no. They are not sure about dying. In fact, they are ambivalent about dying. They just thought that suicide is the last recourse. In fact, when a person is able to express their thought, their plans, and their attempts to commit suicide, and they're able to talk it out with someone else, they end up changing their mind because the process makes them identify that suicide is not the last recourse. If someone talks to you with a plan of committing suicide or wanting to die, whether in a form of joke or a confirmed statement, you should take it seriously and allow that person to express the plan, the method. You should be able to explore the plan. Is the plan definitive? Is it concrete? Because the more concrete the plan is, the more serious is the person to commit suicide. You should also explore the method. You should be able to identify the availability and the lethality of that method, because our way to help them is to be with them so that they will not be successful in carrying out the plan. Remember, sometimes suicide is just a cry for help. Most suicidal individuals give definitive warning of their suicidal intentions. It's just that these people around them are either not aware of the significance of these warnings or do not know how to respond to them. We have to understand that most of these suicidal individuals are desperately wanting to live. They are just unable to see the alternatives they have to continue with their lives. Modern science and medicine identify biochemical changes in the brain to lead to depression. While the biochemical changes in the brain related to depression can be explained by science, and many psychobehavioral theories can explain mental health and mental illness, these suicidal individuals find that emptiness within themselves, which make them see their lives as less important than the problems they have to solve and the limitations that they actually experience in their lives. In this modern age and time, when life is supposed to be simpler and social communication seems to be easier, why will a person commit suicide when the solutions are just within digital reach? Let us not miss the fact that in the core of our holistic being is our spirit, our soul, and let our spirituality be the fuel to make us discover the meaning of life and of living. The Philippine Suicide Helpline is 0917-558-4673 or simply dial 2919. And counselors are available for you 24/7. We have tried this and it works. We only have one life to live. Love it, live it, make the most of it, and always remember, God loves you.
This feature is brought to us by
CBRC Lucena, located at with these contact numbers.
CBRC Nueva Ecija is located at with these contact numbers.
CBRC Urdaneta, located at with these contact numbers.